You know what? I watched a video the other day and oh my goodness, I almost fell out of my chair because sometimes God, oh man, he is amazing and he just shocks the hell out of me sometimes. Well, actually all the time. But sometimes God will actually place, a message, a video, a conversation, or even just a random moment right in front of you to make you look at something in your life from a completely different perspective. And this message hit me so hard that I had to come on here and share it with all of you because I know someone else needs to hear this message as well. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. My name is Cassie, and on this channel, we talk all things of healing, self-love, and self-care, and of course, becoming your dream woman. So have you ever caught yourself having a conversation with yourself like all day long? You know what I mean? Like those thoughts that are continuously playing in the back of your minds. The thoughts that tell you, oh, you're not good enough. This probably won't work out. You're always failing. You're unrealistic. You should just stop trying right now. What do you even think that you are? Who do you think you are, And for the longest time, we think those thoughts are just us. We think it's our personality. We think it's who we are. We think that we're just being realistic with ourselves. But what if those thoughts were never truly yours to begin with? What if those thoughts that you keep repeating to yourself are actually echoes of what was spoken to you when you were growing up? Yeah, realizing where those thoughts came from, because I was like, wowzers. I started to really sit back and think about this. I realized that so many of the thoughts that I struggle with were the things that I heard before. Maybe from the parents, maybe from your teachers, maybe from different family members, people that we love. And it could even be coming things that we heard from our ex-partners, from people who constantly criticized us, doubted us, rejected us, and made us, continuously to feel small. And after hearing those things enough times, we just accepted them. They became the soundtrack in our own brains. And I don't think most people did this intentionally. I really don't. But when you are repeatedly hearing things like, that's unrealistic, you need to be practical, you'll never make money doing that, stop dreaming, you're too emotional, you're too this, you're not enough, eventually, you just stop dreaming. You start shrinking yourself on the regular. You start believing in different possibilities for your life and for yourself. And to be honest, it just leads you to stop believing in yourself as a whole. And then one day you wake up and you wonder why your life feels stuck. But the truth is, your mind has been repeating survival programming for years now. Your thoughts are connected to your childhood. So I really want you to start paying attention to your thoughts going forward. When you notice that you are having all of this negative talk about yourself, I want you to pause and ask, who does this sound like? Does it sound like your parents, your grandparents, your ex, a teacher, a partner, someone who hurt you, someone who constantly made you question your self-worth? Because a lot of our behaviors, beliefs, fears, and limitations stem from our childhood or our painful life experiences. The way we see ourselves, the way that we love, the way that we receive love, the way that we handle money, The way that we chase our dreams and the way that we react to our failures, so much of it was actually conditioned into us. And once you realize that, it starts changing everything, because then you can really stop identifying with those thoughts. And one thing I started doing when those thoughts, started popping up is I literally rebuke them. I say, nope, I rebuke that. I'm not accepting that. Those are not my thoughts. I do not accept this for my identity anymore. Because the truth is, just because the thought appears does not mean that it's true. I think we often forget that sometimes. We hear a thought and we immediately agree with it, right? We immediately think that that thought is ours. But you do not have to agree with every thought that your mind produces. Especially when those thoughts were built from pain, rejection, criticism, trauma, or even years of conditioning. You have to stop feeding those thoughts. And what I'd like to call it is the monster. You have to stop feeding the monster. Because every single time that you entertain them, you strengthen them. And it's almost like reopening a toxic relationship every time that you agree with those beliefs again, right? No, you're not going to be perfect in this overnight. You've been probably thinking these thoughts for 10, 20, even maybe 30 plus years. They feel familiar. They feel neutral. And unfortunately, they feel true for you. But familiarity does not equal truth. One thing that can really help you in this is writing letters to your inner child. And not from a place from judgment, but from a place of understanding. Write about how those words made you feel back then. How they still affect you now. How those beliefs actually shaped your life. And how they affected your confidence, your relationships, your dreams, and your self-worth. And then begin to rewire the story. Tell yourself, I no longer accept those beliefs. I no longer accept those thoughts as my identity anymore. I no longer allow these words to define my future. Because healing starts when awareness begins. And once you become aware of what's running in your subconscious mind, you finally have the power to change it. This is something that I've had to really work on myself lately. I did these things earlier on. What ended up happening was after I did all this deep healing, I thought it was done. I thought these thoughts were not, I thought because I healed them, I didn't think that they were supposed to be here anymore. So I said, okay, well, if they're here, I guess this is just part of who I am because I healed them. I don't know what else to do, right? That's sometimes where you can get yourself stuck. So because, your mind is constantly trying to bring you back to your life prior, right? It's like what it's familiar with, because our thoughts absolutely shape our reality. So if your mind is constantly saying, oh, my life sucks, nothing is ever working out for me, why is everything so hard? If this not one thing, it's another. How many times have you said that to yourself? I know I've said that a lot. Then your brain, literally starts accepting the struggle. You start unconsciously looking for evidence that your life is hard. You start waiting for something to go wrong. Your nervous system stays stuck in that survival mode. And then you wonder, why you feel anxious, exhausted, depressed, overwhelmed, or even emotionally drained all of the time. Your thoughts influence your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions, and your actions influence your life. Everything is connected. So one thing I constantly say now is I'm always supported. Everything is always working out for me, even when it doesn't look like it, even when life feels uncertain, even when things aren't happening now how I thought they would, even when challenges come up, because they will. The things that, trigger us are actually revealing areas that we still need to heal. Sometimes life brings things up so we can finally release them. So now, instead of immediately spiraling, I try to remind myself everything is still working out for me. That affirmation has helped me so much, because your brain needs repetition. If negative thoughts were repeated for years, the healing thoughts also need repetition. Another thing that really has helped me is my gratitude journaling. Some days it's big things, some days it's tiny things. Some days it's I'm grateful for the sunshine, I'm grateful for my coffee, I'm grateful that I got a good night's rest, I'm grateful to hear the birds outside, I am grateful that I'm healthy, and I'm grateful to be alive. Because when you start focusing on what is good, your brain slowly looks for things that will make it more good for you. And I know sometimes when people are struggling deeply, they feel trapped in this victim mode. I've been there too, where you feel like nothing can change, everything is unfair, and life is happening against you. But healing helped me realize that while we may not, control everything that has happened to us, we do have the power to change what happens next. I want to put this reminder in here. Sometimes we can go back to the old patterns, because I went through this healing process. And, before my healing, I was really more apt to not accept these thoughts and things like that. But I was past that, to be honest. Sorry, my ego is got a little big there for a minute. Yes, I thought I was past all of these thoughts because I spent so much time healing, releasing, rewiring, doing all of this work, right? Realize that these thoughts were going to try to see if they can plant roots again in my secret mind. And unfortunately, I let them again, which caused me to be stuck for a while. And that's what is making me make this video. Well, not making me, but that's what is inspiring me to make this video today. Is because even after you've gone through some healing, even after you've done some rewiring, after you've done all of that, you will still need to make sure that you are rebuking those thoughts that you do not want. And it probably will be a forever thing. So just make sure that you are aware of that. On this journey, self-love is essential, especially if a lot of your wounds are connected to worthiness, appearance, rejection, and or love. Because you will need to start pouring love back into yourself intentionally. You'll need to take yourselves on walks. Buy yourself those flowers, girl. Yes. Write yourself love letters. Compliment yourself, take care of your body, and speak kindly to yourself every day. Because if you do not deeply love yourself, you will continue accepting relationships, situations, and realities that mirror the lack of love that you have for yourself. Everything reflects back to what we believe that we deserve. And it doesn't matter what we want, right? It's all about who we are. And so if we are being somebody who doesn't feel deserving of having then unfortunately that is what is going to be reflected back to us. And that's why, healing our self-worth is so important. Like, it's a non-negotiable. Because if you have no self-worth, your life is going to feel really hard, stuck, and not desirable at all. I know this whole healing thing isn't easy, right? I know, I've done it. But staying stuck isn't easy either. Feeling anxious, feeling depressed, feeling disconnected from everything, even yourself, and being in constant fear or being in, constant survival mode. Oh, that's all exhausting too. And at some point, you have to truly decide if you're going to struggle either way. Then what would you rather struggle towards? Becoming the best version of yourself? Where, you actually can live a desirable life, because you do deserve peace. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. You deserve a healthy love. You deserve to feel safe inside of your own mind. And we were not created to live these miserable lives that we've been living. And honestly, the opportunities that are available right now are incredible compared to what we used to have available to us years ago. When I was younger, we didn't have social media. No, we didn't have internet. We didn't have anything. And it started coming up in my later years, but it wasn't anything like it is today. Like, our phone was like this big, the first cell phone. I think the antenna was like this long and so thick. I mean, it was funny. If you ever go back and look at the old, how technology first, started, even the computers were like huge, I mean, even look at the TVs, right? The TVs, remember the big TVs that we used to have, and the wooden frames, and it would take like 10 people to move them because they were so heavy. Yes, that's the era that I grew up in. Okay, so we didn't have like the internet where we could connect worldwide, right? Now we have the opportunity to do business online, to connect with people all over the world. And you know what? Our online business can also be shared worldwide. I mean, imagine life being different, right? So, well, let's not go there. But so right now you can build a business online. You can create content. You can share your gifts. You can dance, sing, teach, coach, heal, create art, play even video games and get paid for it, okay? You can start bands, build communities. I mean, the possibilities are endless right now. But so many people still believe that their dreams are impossible because they were conditioned to think that way growing up. I remember when I was little, I wanted to be a dancer so badly. I would literally watch the music videos on TV and copy the dance moves all summer long. That's how I spent most of my time, because it was just a dream that I had, that I wanted to be one of those dancers. And even though life, went differently, that little girl inside of me still, mattered. Those dreams still mattered. So I want you to ask yourself, what dream did you abandon because someone convinced you that it was unrealistic? And what would happen if you gave yourself permission to chase it again? Even if it never becomes massive, even if it never turns into millions, even if it never looks perfect, there is still something beautiful in finally allowing yourself to try. So please, stop paying attention to that voice inside of your head. Ask yourself, who taught me to speak to myself this way? And then start rewriting that story. You are not your trauma. You are not your conditioning. You are not your past. And you are not the words that someone else spoke to you during their own pain. You are worthy. You are capable. You are lovable. You are powerful. And you are meant for so much more. And yes, healing takes time, but every single day you choose new thoughts, new beliefs, new actions, you begin creating a completely different reality for yourself. So keep going, keep healing, keep believing, keep showing up for yourself, because your dream life starts with the thoughts that you choose to accept today. So remember, don't accept the thoughts that don't match your new life. Okay, no matter how old they are, no matter how true they seem, no matter how many times you heard them, don't accept them. Don't. Learn from my mistakes, because it's almost cost me a year of my life of not truly being able to live my dream life, because I was trapped in this old timeline because of my mind. So I love you so much, and I hope that this was helpful for you. And remember that you don't get what you want, you get who you are. So that's why it's important to heal and become your dream woman. So I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.